You're tuned in to Vocalo Radio 91.1 FM, Chicago's only NPR music station. I'm your host, Bekoe. And as always, man, I bring you all a special guest. Special guest with me. Special guest. You hear in the background. She goes by the name of Khaliyah X. How you feeling?
I feel good. It's not raining today. It's actually sunny outside.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm feeling good. I got green on. I'm trying to manifest some coin.
Ooh.
You know?
I just peeped that too.
Yeah, green. Trying to manifest some money.
It's coming.
It's on the way.
Coming.
It's in the mail.
Because you also put, when it comes to manifestation, you got to put that work in too.
Facts.
And you've been putting that work.
Oh my God. No, I have. And you know what's crazy? I just never... I'm really into discipline and hard work and what's the word I'm looking? Self-improvement.
Okay.
I've been reading self-improvement books, I think, since I was a kid. I used to buy the little Chicken Soup for the Soul books.
I remember those.
And they used to tell you how to be a teenager and how to make proper decisions and stuff like that. And I've just always been on that wave. So to see but I was always diligent with school and different stuff. I think this is the first time in my life I've been just going 2,000% with my music career. So it's interesting the outcome of me actually putting in 2,000% instead of 200.
It's a difference. And you say you've been reading self-improvement books. So what are you looking to improve more upon yourself?
Oh, currently?
Yeah.
Currently, I'm trying to build better systems.
Okay.
And really refine what routine works the best for me. So I think that's just a refinement or an improvement upon that, because I'm working really hard, but I haven't figured out how to just fit in all the pieces. And I'm trying to figure out whether balance is, because, okay, I'm a Libra. Let me start there.
Okay,
and I'm always trying to, it's the scale. So I naturally try to find balance in everything. But I'm realizing sometimes you're in seasons where things are out of balance and you just got to live on the edge a little bit to, you know what I mean? Everything is not going to be in perfect harmony and balance. So I think I'm trying to improve upon giving myself grace when things are out of whack and improve upon pivoting when things get difficult, because I can get frustrated and irritated and I'd be things aren't going the way I planned ahead. So I'm really trying to just learn okay, what's next?
Nothing really goes according to plan.
I hate that.
Me too. So we got to plan from plan A to Z and A again.
Yeah. And then it'd be nope.
I mean, with your pivoting point, have you seen any changes lately, within your character or some of the things you do?
When it comes to learning how to pivot better?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Especially when it comes to communicating with people and business wise, it's sometimes things get miscommunicated. How can that be fixed? Sometimes somebody understands something a certain way. Okay, how can we, work it out? I think when it comes to pivoting, it's less about things not going to plan and more about the people who are involved when things don't go according to plan.
Ooh. Snap, snap, snap.
Because that can change it. If something pivots and you're around people who are understanding about it and they're able to flow, then it's easier. But what about the people who are you know what I mean? It's hard to kind of get them to pivot or go with the flow with you. Then it's well, what do you do then?
Man, and speaking of pivoting,
yeah,
let's pivot on into some poetry, because you have me in here snapping.
Poetry?
You're talking that talk. You know what I'm saying? And if I'm not mistaken, is poetry part of what influenced you to even dabble into music?
Yeah, poetry and jazz, and live music. Really neo soul. My mom, she had me in jazz clubs real young. I think she told me I was in jazz club when I was 2 to 3 years old. She would sneak me in the jazz clubs with her, because she was 25. She was in her 20s, and she would just have me go to jazz clubs with her and sit and listen to music. And I would just sit and listen and spoken words and things like that. But also the music she would play would be neo soul. So a lot of the music would be poetry based, poetry, she would have Marsha Ambrosius singing, but that's poetry that she would be doing, on the tracks. And then just neo soul music was very prevalent in my household with my mom. So naturally, I just grew up liking poetry a lot, listening to poetry a lot on YouTube. I think what was that channel called? The Button?
I don't remember the Button, but you could tell me about the button.
I don't know. I believe that's the channel for like you could watch poetry on YouTube. But I was in poetry club in high school. Yeah, I love poetry.
So wait, before I get into
Louder than a bomb. Yeah.
see, now before I dive into your mother a little bit, no, I'm right. I said what I said, right? Yeah. Before I dive into poetry a little bit more,
Okay.
hearing you say that about your mother, is she musically inclined at all? Or
My
does
mom
she write
can't
poetry?
sing for nothing.
Okay.
But she's always loved music. She has great music taste. And she always was a collector of like CDs and vinyls and all those things. She just loved music a lot. But also, my mom was dating a guy who was a rapper. My dad. And like he used to hang around like the era in Chicago where like Common and No ID, like, you know, they're all like grew up together. So naturally when she started dating my dad, she was always a music lover, but when she started dating my dad, I think she got like really more into music. Like on a deeper level when she saw how it was created. And like when
she was
around it. When the poetry era, you know, like when poetry in Chicago and neo soul and rap and hip hop in Chicago was kind of like brewing like at that time. With the 90s and 2000s, she was around for it. So I think she just was, you know, always appreciated the art and loved the art. So naturally she was just appreciative of the art itself. And I think she just poured all of her love for arts into me.
And your father, because
Yeah.
I was going to bring him up, and then you because I didn't know much. I'm like, hold on, I hear mother,
Yeah.
mom.
My pops.
Like, how's you and your father's relationship? And in a way, do you feel like I see the coffins?
Oh, no.
I was,
I have some tea in my throat. No shade.
Hey, look, you finna spill some tea. Okay, got you. But like hearing that he also is part of music, do you feel like he's also part of a influence to you?
Yes, I really feel like I'm part of a legacy. When it comes to my dad. My mom, like both of them, but my dad specifically because like he had an album out, you know, like he dropped the album and like, you know, he worked in music for a long time in Chicago. And like him and O.D. and Ye were like all friends. I didn't know this till I got older though. Like this is stuff I didn't know about my dad until I got older. Like I'm gonna say about like 2-3 years ago. Really until the documentary dropped and I saw he's in the documentary.
What we talking about? Jeen-Yuhs documentary?
Yeah, like no, like when he dropped the documentary on Netflix.
Yeah, Jeen-Yuhs.
He's in there. Like you could see my dad, like I could point him out to you and be like, oh, that's my dad. But I had no idea that that's like what the type of life he was living before I was like born. You know what I mean? I had no idea who my dad was. Let me just say that. And like I remember like he would tell me like, oh, like, you know, I was in music and stuff or whatever. But you know, they're your parents. You don't be thinking like, oh, I was there. Yeah, all right. You was hanging out with yeah, all right. You know what I mean?
And at that time, Ye was still growing. He was becoming who he is now.
In his 20s. He wasn't even like sign or like pop yet at all. So this is like all the beginning stages, like real a part of history. And I think like I'm part of a legacy in that aspect. And we're close, like we're real close. He just like is a genius and really, really smart. And he guides me in a lot of ways, you know, like as my dad, he gives me a lot of advice.
Music advice?
Music advice, but also business advice. Because he's just seen it from, you know, before streaming.
Yeah, he's seen it when it was CD. He's seen it when it was tapes.
When it was tapes and CDs. So he's seen the evolution of music from, you know, when it was really just like really getting up there. And so he just has like a lot of wisdom. And he just talks to me a lot. And he's really supportive of me. So yeah, I love my pops.
What's a piece of advice he's gave you that, you know, you take with you?
Ooh, he always tells me to like trust my gut. That was just like the first thing, like trust your gut, trust your vision. And he says discernment is really important because he said it's a lot of people who won't understand what you're doing or what you're trying to do, and you will have a lot of like opinions thrown at you, telling you who you are, what to say, what to sound like. He basically just always told me like, be sure. You know what I mean? Like if you're doing something, you could like accept advice, but do it because it's what you want to do and what you want to say. Just like stay 10 toes down with who I am. First, he was like, just figure out who you are first. And I think where a lot of people get lost in the industry in general is that they don't know who they are. So they start to assume identities from other people or what they think.
Speaking of identity.
Okay.
You know, yeah, go on sip your tea. Where did the name Or when did you start identifying the Chicago's princess?
Oh, that is a good question. I'm trying to think about the first time I even thought like that's who I am. Really, after I sang the national anthem, I was like, it is what it is at this point. I think that's when I don't remember the first time I like said it or assumed the identity, but I do think after I sang the national anthem at the Bulls game, I was like, well, I might as well be. And now I'm just like trying to collect the arenas, like the national anthem sports arenas, like Infinity Stones. So I'm trying to get all of them. I'm trying to do every sport in Chicago.
You can do it. You gonna do it. You got 2 in the bag already.
2 in the bag.
Would you say, because you've hit a lot of stages?
Yeah.
I mean, you. That's how I actually got introduced to you. Was on the stage. We was at Schubas.
Yeah.
Got a chance to check out Zay France. You opened up for him.
Yeah.
And man, your performance was crazy.
Oh wow.
Like.
Don't make me blush or nothing.
You go ahead, get your blush on. This is facts, okay?
Wow, thank you.
Your performance is very captivating, and it struck my attention. As soon as you got off stage, I'm like, hey, whoa, don't, wait, let me talk to you.
Yeah.
But out of all these stages that you've touched, what would you say is your most memorable stage you've touched? Because you also traveled to New York.
Mm-hmm.
And did a show out of town.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, my most memorable performance, I have 2, and it's not like of me being older. It's when I was a kid.
Okay.
I performed at the DuSable Museum was my first performance, and it was a competition, and I won. I was like 11. I won $500.
Oh, what?
Yeah, that was my very first performance. I was like, oh, I could do this for real, and like. Make a little money or something? Like
$500 back then. That was
you
a
know,
nice amount of money.
I mean, for an 11-year-old, I mean, of course, my mama had to take a fee because she wasn't going to give me all of the money. But yeah, that one was like when I was like, yeah, I want to do this for real. And I think I ought to be good at it. And I think I want to just do it. And then when I was like 13, I performed at the Showtime at Apollo when I was like 13.
Out of New York?
Uh-huh.
So that performance you recently had was not the first performance out of New York?
No, but I had forgot about it until my grandma, I was like, oh, like, my first show in New York. My grandma was like, no, it's not. Remember we went to New York? I think I just like blocked out, I don't know. I don't know what happened to that memory. But yeah, no, it wasn't the first time. No, that was my first like headlining show, like, and it was for me. The show when I did the Showtime at Apollo when I was like 13, I was in a pageant. Okay. And I used to do pageants like when I was younger. And we like traveled. We had like a travel team, and we would travel. We went to like LA, and then we went to New York. And this is so crazy because like it's coming back. So everybody know who her is, but she was Gabrielle Wilson when she was younger, and being her, she's only a year older than me. But now that like I'm recalling the memory, and my grandma showed me pictures, we were both there. So we were in the pageant. We weren't in the same program. But I performed at the Showtime at Apollo, and, like, you can't boo kids off the stage. So, like, they let the kids go, and then they have, like, the real show. It's like the pre-show. So it's not like, the adults can't really do anything. It's just, like, for kids to showcase their talent. So I had went, another young lady, I don't remember who she was, and Gabby Wilson went. But now she's known as her, but I didn't know what was going on. And, like, the memory was very foggy because I don't know why I just didn't remember it. And then, yeah, like, that was my first time. It hit me. I feel like the show in New York that I did recently, though, was the reason why I felt like it was my first show. So far, I'm thankful for so far because, they give artists platforms, smaller artists, independent artists to go around, like, different places and perform, and even in the city. And I'm grateful, so grateful for them. I think it was, like, I headlined it. And it was, like, with a major, like, platform that I wanted to work with. It felt like it was a manifestation I was working for a long time. And then I had, like, my mom and, like, my team with me there, too. So maybe that's why I feel like it was my, like, real first show. But not to discount the other experiences.
Yeah, because you have a lot. You have a lot of experiences.
Yeah.
I swear I thought you was going to say United Center. I just, in my mind, I'm like, probably was a United Center. But to hear you say that, it's like, damn. That's dope. You got a chance to hit the Apollo stage.
Yeah, I got to see people get booed off. Man. It was a great time.
Now, you're still currently an independent artist, correct?
Mm-hmm.
But would you even tap into inking a deal if it came your way?
If it was the right deal, yeah.
So what's the right deal for Khaliyah?
I want to earn all my masters in publishing. I think, I want to own all my masters in publishing, and I want to make sure like the splits are good, like percentage wise. I also want to make sure I have like certain amount of albums that I'm doing. A lot of deals go to like 4 to 6 albums. Mm-hmm. I think my ideal album deal would be 3.
Ooh. But and if I'm not mistaken, you don't have an album out yet.
Nope. 50K for a verse. No album out. No. No. Yeah.
Is there a reason behind why you haven't?
I mean, honestly, because first of all, let me state that I love albums. I'm a project girl. Like when I listen to artists, I listen to their bodies of work. I am not a single type of like person. I really enjoy like bodies of work. And I have enough music in my catalog for an album, but it's not ready to be an album. Like it's not cohesive. It don't tell a story. I don't feel that it flows, you know what I mean, the right way. I feel like there's more that I want for my first album. Okay. And it's just not together. And I was like thinking about it like, well, you don't have to be so much of a perfectionist about it because that can get in the way of you like wanting it to be so perfect that you never drop an album. That's really not the case. It's just that I feel that it's just not there yet. You know what I mean? I'm not just going to throw something together because I don't have one out. Especially in this climate, it's no rush.
I wanted to say, how did you know your EP was complete just for the summer?
It just felt complete. If I'm being completely honest, okay, 2 things with that one. That one was really just fun to make. It was so much fun. It was like, yeah, this is fun. And the songs kind of flow together and it tells a slight story, so let's just do it. That's really what it was. Me and my tough engineer, we was in the studio all the time. We made these songs, and I was like, yeah, this is real fun. We having a blast. Silly Games was the first song we ever made together, and it was magic. So I was like, let's just make more songs, and then let's drop an EP. And he was like, okay, let's do it. And then we just did it.
And I know that wasn't too long ago. That was like about a year.
Yeah, a year. Yeah.
But a lot can happen in a year. A lot of changes can happen in a year. So how do you feel your sound has changed since releasing your EP?
It's changed a lot. Just for the Summer is very much just like neo soul based, I would say. And I didn't have like a set producer on that track. Those are all like beats I bought from BeatStars, so it's like a range of producer. Yeah, producers deserve to get paid. I don't really believe in ripping people off. That's not a thing. Even my team members, like, I'm like, this is what I can pay, but y'all gonna get something. Everybody deserves to get paid for a job. If I'm doing something, I'm singing. Where the money?
Yeah.
People got bills and lives. Like, I feel like even if you could pay somebody $25, offer something. They'll just be like, can you just do it for free?
So would you say that that's probably one of? I'm pretty sure a lot of people face that. Yeah. But as an independent artist, do you feel that's one of the challenges that you face?
Yes. Hell. Can we curse?
Yeah, Go ahead.
Hell yeah. Because at the end of the day, to really execute your vision the way that you want to execute it, it does take money. And it's not because, like, you can take the cheap way out, but it's going to sound cheap. I'm a person of quality. So I be like, how can I get the best quality for what's in my budget for right now? Or, like what I can do with it. And it's definitely difficult because I do like to pay people wages and I do like to, have people do their best work. But also I just learned that when you pay people, they actually feel that their work was worth it. And if they enjoy working with you, it makes it all the worth the while. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I like working with them. They respect me and they pay me. It's not as much, but they're at least showing that, my time is valued. It makes the people stick around longer. So pay your people.
Oh, dang.
My photographer Mark is snapping in the back.
He's snapping and snapping photos at the same time.
Thanks. Yeah.
These days profiled you.
Yeah.
Kayo. Gayun, what's her last name?
Gayun Cannon.
Gayun Cannon, thank you. And my homie D2x.
Yeah.
Crazy lineup. Like, what was that like for you experiencing that type of promotion / community amongst each other?
Yeah. Let me tell you something about these days. I've been trying to get on These Days Chicago Artists to Watch for 3 years. Like 3 to 4 years.
That's long.
I used to be in their DMs. Like, I would love to be featured. I'm a fan of y'all. At the end of the day, I was a fan in general. But of course I would love to be featured. I feel like everything happened in divine timing. Where I am right now in my career, the type of music I'm making, the buzz that I'm creating, everything happened the way it was supposed to. So being a part of that community, being on the set, being with other artists in Chicago, it was, I have to say, one of the most cherished experiences. Because I'm like, double XL, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know how that freshman classes and all that stuff? This was just really important to me because it's like Chicago artists don't get, you know what I mean, the acknowledgement as they should. And it's just so much talent. And it's just so nice to see a publication like these days give intention and love and press and write-ups and like real magazine, you know what I mean, type of feature to Chicago artists who are independent or signed or just, you know, doing it themselves and putting in the work. And I have to say that I'm just grateful.
And you was talking about your song.
Yeah.
What influence did you pull from Alicia Keys' You Don't Know My Name, if any, you know?
R&B staple track, R&B song. Everybody know, like, hello, can I speak to Michael? You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody know Alicia Keys, You Don't Know My Name. For this song, I think the way that, like, the beat was made and, like, you know, the vibe of, like, how rah-rah it made me feel, but it had, like, the sample piece in there. I was like, I wonder how I could do my own spin on it. And at the time, I didn't feel like making no love song. So I was like, I'm going to talk my on this song, you know, and like introduce myself because Silly Games has like a little attitude on it. But Just for the Summer is real like lovey-dovey and soft and like I need, you know, like one side of me. But What's My Name was like the X side of me. Like I don't really play around, you know what I'm saying? I'm stepping into myself. I'm being bold. I'm saying what I want to say. I don't care who like it, who don't. And I just decided to take that spin off on it and just say what I wanted to say and have fun.
And the first time I heard it was when you performed it at Schubas.
Wow. Because it wasn't out yet.
Yep, it wasn't out yet.
Yeah.
And man, I'm like, damn, this is nice.
Thank
the
you.
vibe from the production to, of course, your vocals. I'm like, this is how you do that.
Thank you.
And then hearing the story about your father being around Kanye.
Yeah.
And then you redoing a track that Kanye helped produce.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yes, he helped produce that record.
Oh, wow. Well,
Yeah.
divine alignment. That's the thing. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I didn't even, but God works in mysterious ways for sure.
He helped produce. So
And
it's
I almost
like,
at 100K. I said to put it in.
yeah, you are.
I
it's
am,
in the
yeah.
article. It's definitely, you landed in my top 5.
Okay.
Definitely had to talk about it.
That's crazy.
And then I heard you say you wanted this record to be more so like the bold you.
Yeah.
Because you said you wanted to be the X.
Yeah.
And you see your name 1st and foremost. Where did your name derive from?
So when I was in high school, I read the autobiography of Malcolm X. And we all know the contents of that. Well, if you don't, it's just how, you know how like Black Americans, our last name aren't really ours. It's just the identity we had to assume, you know, with slavery. And at first I was like all radical and I was like reading a whole bunch of like, you know, Black empowerment books. And I was like, I'm wearing an afro. I'm doing all this. It was like a whole thing. But then after I like grew and like read more, I realized like, well, why was I so attracted to X in the first place? Like it looked cool to me. It was the first thing. It doesn't really fit in the alphabet. It like stands out. You know what I mean? And I realized I was like, well, Khaliyah's the softer side of me and X is everything I aspire to be, which is, you know, bold, fearless, strong. Yeah. So I was like, why not just make it my name?
It fits too.
2 sides of me in one.
Has people messed your name up?
Khaliyah, Kayla. And I don't know how to get Khaliyah. I don't know. Khaliyah, Kayla, mostly. I get Kayla a lot. Or Keela. Yeah, I get that a lot.
Well, I know with this record, they gonna know how to say it.
What's my name?
What's my name?
Hey, turn up.
I mean, you gotta let people know how they can follow you. That way they
Yeah.
can stay in tune. And, just follow your moves and see what's upcoming for you. Because I would actually like to know what you got in store in the future.
Yeah, so you can follow me on all platforms at Khaliyah_X, KHALIYAH_X. Again, KHALIYAH_X. Yeah, follow me on all platforms, even YouTube. I do vlogs sometimes to talk about
And
my
covers.
process. And covers. Vlogs and covers.
What's the next cover?
Oh, I don't know.
I think I'm gonna give you one.
You gonna give me
you
one?
Alicia Keys.
Alicia Keys? You got a recommendation?
I'm gonna find something.
I'm taking Rex.
I'm gonna find something.
I'm taking Rex. I won't tell. You're gonna do that one? Your secrets.
There you go. Look, you done found it. Look, that's the one I'm gonna recommend right there. I mean, but yeah, is there a future project in the works before we get into this single?
It's definitely a future project.
Okay.
I don't have a date for y'all though.
Oh, that ain't, as long as we know a future project is coming, a body of work is coming. Chicago
A body of work
world.
is coming.